Hey, well, that's tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather for next week. Today, it looks as though we're going to be trying to find high pressure building in next week, but we've got a bit of a battle going on. I think basically wind's actually going into the east next week. Now, the air over the continent next week isn't going to be particularly cold, so I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too drastic in terms of cold weather coming in with that easterly wind. Nevertheless, an easterly in March is a pretty dreary, disappointing affair normally, probably bringing in a lot of cloud and pretty chilly temperatures as well. Quite a complicated pattern though, so I'll have a look at all the detail on that in a moment. Now, first of all, the advertising. There's video ads on my pages at gazworthviz.com. If you press play on the video ad, you'll be supporting gazworthviz.com. Thanks very much for doing that. Also, the content tags. If there's any articles that you want to read, just click through the links and be able to go and read those articles. At the same time, Gazworthiz gets a royalty fee on what you're doing. Thanks very much for doing that. Competition coming up at weekend. I've been speaking about this a little bit in the video just recently. Can't say just yet what prize is going to be or how you can enter, but you'll find out all the detail at the weekend. Very exciting times at Gazworthiz over weekend, so do keep an eye out. It's going to be Sunday morning, I think, when I start the competition, so keep an eye out for that. So we've got a band of rain coming down across the country at the moment. This is the latest radar picture. The rain lying through southern Scotland, northern England, down in towards Wales, and just coming to the southwest of England too. Very gusty winds associated with that. Now that's an active cold front. It's sweeping southwards and eastwards, and behind we've got colder air coming in. So we are going to see the temperatures dropping away over the next day or so. We're going to be losing the relatively warm air that we've had for quite some time now across the country. I'm going to replace it with a cooler, fresh sort of air mass. Here's the high-resolution Euro 4 precipitation forecast. This is UK Met Office product from the website Weather Online. This is a band of rain on that cold front. It's forecast to move south across England and Wales through the course of this afternoon. It's quite heavy rain mixed in, clearing out of the way tonight. And then we find showers following in from behind, and on a quite strong westerly wind as well. Now these pink colours across Scotland indicate that the showers could turn wintry in the north tonight, particularly over high ground, but perhaps not exclusively so. As we go through into Friday, we're going to find more bands of showers tending to come through across the country, maybe even a longer spell of rain coming across England and Wales overnight Friday into Saturday. And again, there could be some wintriness mixed in with that, particularly over high ground of North Wales, the North Midlands and northern parts of England. Probably not amounting to too much, but certainly some sleet or hail mixed in, and particularly for Scotland, I think could have some wintry showers. And then as we go through in Saturday, we'll bring more wintry showers through to the north and the west of the country. We are going to find temperatures dipping away over the next few days. So the March so far has been very mild. This is the central England temperature for March, and we see that currently we stand provisionally at 7.7. If I can just highlight it for you so you can see it perhaps a little bit better. We're currently standing at 7.7 in terms of the central England temperature for March. This is from Hadley at the UK Met Office. That's an anomaly of 2.4 above average, so it's been another very mild month. It's been a very mild start to the year, actually, with both January and February coming out well above average. January at 5.7, February at 6.2. Anomalies of 1.9 and 2.4 above average. Now, the March temperature and anomaly is provisional up to the 19th, so there'll probably be corrections on this let's get through to the end of the month. But of course, we have a cooler spell coming up. You're going to find temperatures dipping away. Nevertheless, it's going to be another mild month. We're going to be coming out above average. I think that much is pretty much certain for March. Now, I say things are on the change now to somewhat cooler conditions. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles. Temperature first of all, remember the red line is where we should be at this time of year, way above average just for today across England and Wales. But we're going to be dipping down behind that cold as it comes through. There's the cold front there with that rainfall spike coming through, and then once that goes through, we are going into a cooler or a colder phase, so we go below the red line for quite a few days, actually, up to around the 25th, 26th of March, when we may then start to see a bit of a recovery in temperatures. But the 26th, 27th of March is when we're starting to get quite a lot of scatter here within the temperature ensemble. So you wouldn't say temperatures are coming back up with conviction there. There's a lot of scatter, a lot of uncertainty. Some members certainly going milder again towards the very end of the month, but there are plenty of of members that are keeping it quite cold, or certainly quite chilly out to the end of the month, and even into the start of April. This is April the 1st just here. Again, we're seeing a lot of scatter. So we have this cold phase coming up over the weekend into start next week, or a cooler phase anyway. Once we get through to the end of next week, or the middle to the last stages of next week, then we start to get a lot of uncertainty coming through. And the reason that's happening, as I said at the start of the video, is that there's just signs of easterly winds beginning to set up. Have a look at the charts in a moment. These are the temperature anomalies for the coming week, Thursday the 20th to Friday the 28th of March. And we're in the blue colours here, so actually a little bit below average. Haven't seen this much over the last few months, but yeah, distinctly cool, even perhaps cold week coming up, with temperature anomalies coming out around 0 to 2 degrees below average. Most of Western Europe quite cool or cold as well. France, Spain, Portugal, Low Countries, western parts of Germany also coming out below average in the coming week. The precipitation, rainfall anomaly shows that we're going to be a little bit drier than average actually for the coming week. We're in those slightly red colours there, so that's rainfall or precipitation around 75 to 50% of the average. So we're going to be quite dry over the coming week, if that's right. So let's have a look at the generic charts. This is for GFS. This is for Monday. We're going to have high pressure toppling in across the country over the weekend, sort of killing off the showers as we get through to Sunday. Then on Monday, that high pressure is beginning to slip away to the east and to the southeast. This low pressure is trying to come in from the west off the Atlantic. That low pressure pushes through as we go through into Tuesday, probably bringing a band of rain. But notice this area of high pressure building up over Scandinavia at 1,020 millibars. That low pressure eventually slips away into the continent as we go through to the middle of next week, and then we've got this ridge building from the high pressure down to the southwest to the high pressure over Scandinavia at 1,040 millibars. Quite a strong area of high pressure over Scandinavia. Winds going into the east or the northeast there. Now, as I say, we haven't got a desperately cold pool of air sitting to the east of us, so that's the good news. We're not going to be plunged into the depths of winter. Nevertheless, an easterly wind in March is always a pretty poor prospect, particularly for the east, where it tends to drag in a lot of low cloud, possibly a few sleety sort of showers, and generally quite a dull, dank, chilly sort of feel. As we go through to the end of next week, that high pressure end is really taking control over Scandinavia. These low pressures out of the Atlantic are showing signs of being blocked, and sort of the idea is to get through to the end of next week that high pressure is trying to take over both from the west and up to the northeast. Still got these little features in the North Sea though, which if anything will just be bringing a lot of cloud to the east side of the country, and probably quite chilly, sort of dank, miserable type weather. As we move through to day 10, which is Sunday the 30th of March, we're going to find that we've got still the high pressure to the east of the country, high pressure trying to ridge in from the Atlantic as well. So still the basic idea with the low pressure cut off to the south, and still trying to bring in the flow from the east. So it's a complicated pattern, but it looks as though we're going to be finding the winds trying to shift more into an easterly point next week. Luckily, we've not got a desperately cold pool of air sitting to the east of us, unlike this time last year when it's very cold across the continent and snow covered. It's not like that this year, but nevertheless, the easterly will be, if it comes off, quite a chilly prospect. Now, as we have a look at the ECMWF, we find that at the start of next week, again, got that ridge of high pressure toppling across the country on Monday. What does the ECM do? Well, it tries to bring another weather system through on Tuesday. That will probably bring a band of rain across the country. There's the high pressure building up over Scandinavia on Wednesday the 26th of March. The low pressure is slipping away to the south, becoming cut off, possibly signs of winds starting to go into the east and northeast. Then that high pressure at the end of next week begins to take over the pattern again, so definitely an easterly flow there across England and Wales, bringing in, if nothing else, a lot of low cloud and miserable damp type weather. As we move through towards day 10, Sunday the 30th of March, we're going to find the high pressure vent sitting over the country, probably starting to warm things up a little bit, cutting off that easterly flow then, but that's a long way off. It's 10 days away. Finally, for GEM, the Canadian, the high pressure toppling over the country on Monday. On Tuesday, another weather system is trying to come in off the Atlantic. There's the high pressure building over Scandinavia. Does winds do winds go into the east? Yes, they do. That low pressure on Wednesday slips away to the south, allowing the easterly wind to come in. If you was looking for cold and snow over the winter, this is the sort of pattern you would have wanted. It's probably too late for anything desperately wintry now from the east, but nevertheless it's a cooler or colder feel if it comes off, and by the time you get through to Thursday the 27th, well then the high pressure over Scandinavia is firmly in control. Winds, the general flow of the air coming from an easterly or a north-easterly direction. And then we keep that easterly going for quite some time. Easterly is properly in there as we go through to the end of next week. The low pressure is still cut off to the south. We've still got the high pressure over Scandinavia still bringing in that easterly flow. Difficult to say how cold that is. I think the GM is a little bit colder than the other models this morning. Probably that could bring at least some wintry showers to the eastern side of the country. We end up on day 10, Sunday the 30th, with the high pressure then starting to recede a little bit and low pressure beginning to come in back in off the Atlantic. But that's a long way off. 10 days away. What's interesting is that the longer range models, if you've been following my videos in recent weeks, you'll know that the longer range models have been hinting at the chance of a colder April compared to what we've had over the winter. Certainly since December we've been generally above average for many weeks, but the long range models have been hinting at a change taking place as we go through to April in the general circulation pattern, and the chance of something colder than average, possibly for the first time this year in April. It's just interesting that this idea of a Scandinavian high could just be the start of the circulation beginning to change for April. Not necessarily saying it's going to be a desperately wintry month or anything like that, because it's well on into spring, but it's just interesting that we're getting towards the end of March, signs that the general circulation pattern across Europe and the Atlantic is on the change. The initial impact of that is perhaps to bring us easterly winds next week, and we're just going to keep an eye on it, I think, as we go through to April, where this is going. Does it end up as a block of high pressure over Greenland? If it does, then it still is, there still is time to get some proper wintry conditions from a northerly in April. It's harder from an easterly normally, but if you get a really cold northerly in April, you can turn it quite wintry. So we've got to keep an eye on what this high pressure over Scandinavia is doing. If it eventually ends up over Greenland in April, as some of the models have been hinting, long range models have been hinting could happen, then April could turn out to be quite a coolish month. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it all. It's all very interesting. I'm sure you'll be following the story over the next few days. Tomorrow we'll have JMA Friday. We'll be doing month-head forecast from the Japanese model, see if that's showing any signs of the high pressure setting up over Greenland. That's it for now. I hope you found the video interesting. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.